Good evening from London, UK, this beautiful Sunday. It's warm and sunny here. Hope you're experiencing the same thing wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the live stream. It's Sunday, the 27th of July, 2026. You might say, as I'm going to say now, where has the year gone? Well, we're living it right now, isn't it? So it's just perfect. What you would have noticed is that this is the second reading for Leviticus chapters 1 to 4. What happened with the first one is that I didn't set up my OBS properly. And for those of you who know how OBS goes, I didn't set up OBS for when I was actually doing the readings, but that was the source, but it was set up for when I was doing a general talk. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to read Leviticus again, and I'm going to put timestamps on the original Leviticus chapters 1 to 4, where you could go through my commentary and my intro, and you can avoid the silences where the reading actually took place. So I'm just kind of compensating here because for my viewers, for my followers, and for others that listen, you may just want to hear, including my commentary and the little story that I told at the introduction of the original version. You may actually also want to hear the reading. So this is what I'm going to do this evening for you. Okay? And it's a pleasure for me to be here this Sunday. For me, it's evening. It's almost 1900. And we're just going to go through the reading. And I'm just going to specifically focus on the reading today. But if anything comes to mind, if there's any questions you'd like to ask, please do for you to on the live stream. And please leave a comment. And if it's relevant, I'll get an answer for you. What I like to do is if you're going to say hi in the commentary box, say hi, please, and we can have a discussion. But let's just focus on the Bible, the topic of today, and anything else related to the Lord. So feel free to ask in respect of that. And anything else, well, that's fine. Just hold on till after the live stream, especially if you're on Twitch. And then because I'm going to still go on Twitch and just have a general conversation. So you're free to tune in then. All righty. So, well, I've got this right in front of me, but usually we just stick with the version on the PC, which will pop up on your screen once I'm ready. I've just had to switch up the microphone because it's kind of warm, and with the other microphone that I had, it's quite sensitive. I've got a fan running in the background. You might still hear it, but with this trusty dynamic SM58, it will very unlikely pick up the sound. It wouldn't be as bad as it would have been with my other microphone. And I've always wanted to use the SM58 to broadcast because it gives out a different sound. So yeah, that's what I like to do. I just like to welcome you to the stream. I keep on forgetting to do this. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to you, and I always like to celebrate that event. So why don't we just step right into Leviticus chapter 1. The Lord called Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of livestock from the herd or from the flock. If his offering is a burnt offering from the herd, he shall offer a male without blemish. He shall bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before the Lord. He shall lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. Then he shall kill the bull before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall bring the blood and throw the blood against the sides of the altar that is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Then he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall arrange the pieces, the head and the fat on the wood that it is on the fire of the altar. But its entrails and its legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall burn all of it on the altar as a burnt offering of food offering, with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. If his gift for a burnt offering is from the flock, from the sheep or goats, he shall bring a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall throw its blood against the sides of the altar, and he shall cut it into pieces with its head and its fat, and the priest shall arrange them on the wood that the fire is, on the wood that is on the fire on the altar. But the entrails and the legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall offer all of it and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The reason why I highlighted a pleasing aroma to the Lord is just to emphasize that the Lord is present when these sacrifices are taking place. Oh, okay, because it's a pleasing aroma to the Lord. So the Lord can smell it. Okay, so as I said in the previous stream, the Lord was with the Israelites. They are his chosen people. I was just about to use past tense there, but they still are his chosen people, despite what's happened, because the Lord is a forgiving God. Okay, so it's just worth us remembering that the Lord's presence is with them in the tabernacle. Verse 14. If his offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or pigeons. And the priest shall bring it to the altar and wring off its head and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar. He shall remove its crop with its contents and cast it beside the altar on the east side in the place for ashes. He shall tear it open by its wings, but he shall not sever it completely. The priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt offering, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Chapter 2. When anyone brings a grain offering as an offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour. He shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it, and bring it to Aaron's sons, the priest. And he shall take from it a handful of fine flour and oil with all its frankincense, and the priest shall burn this at its memorial portion on the altar, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. But the rest of the grain offering shall be for Aaron and his sons. It is a most holy part of the Lord's food offerings. When you bring a grain offering baked in the oven as an offering, it shall be unleavened loaves of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers smeared with oil. And if your offering is a grain offering baked on a griddle, it shall be of fine flour unleavened mixed with oil. You shall break it in pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. And if your offering is a grain offering cooked in a pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil, and you shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the Lord. And when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take from the grain offering its memorial portion and burn this on the altar, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. But the rest of the grain offering shall be for Aaron's and his sons. It is a most holy part of the Lord's food offerings. No grain offering that you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for leaven is yeast. For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey as a food offering to the Lord. As an offering of first fruits, you may bring them to the Lord, but they shall not be offered on the altar for a pleasing aroma. You shall season all your grain offerings with salt. You shall not let the salt of a covenant with your God be missing from your grain offering. With all your offerings, you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of first fruits to the Lord, you shall offer for the grain offering of your first fruits fresh ears roasted with fire, crushed new grain. And you shall put oil on it and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. And the priest shall burn as its memorial portion some of the crushed grain and some of the oil with all its frankincense. It is a food offering to the Lord. I just want to check one thing. Okay, these offerings are just offerings that the Israelites would have given to the Lord, just as an offering. Say, Lord, this is for you. Please take this. Okay. That just, for me, just emphasizes the relationship that the Lord had with his chosen people. Okay, the tabernacle was his house where he resides when he's with them. And as we remember from Exodus, in the daytime when the Israelites were, should I call it marching, or when they were on their way to the promised land, the Lord would appear as a cloud around the tabernacle. And at nighttime, he would be like a fire around the tabernacle. That was a signification, or that signifies his presence with them. Yes. So as I said again, and I'd just like to emphasize it again, that's just, the Israelites knew that the Lord was with them. He spoke to their prophets and to their leaders, and the leaders transmitted that message to them. And if we go back to Exodus, you would also recollect that at times every time when Moses met with the Lord, when he was coming back to meet his people, his face was shining brightly. Okay? And sometimes he would wear covering for his face. So everybody was aware of the presence of God, and obviously they were also aware of the miracles that the Lord performed while they were in Egypt. And as a consequence of those miracles, Pharaoh let them go. And they also witnessed the parting of the Red Sea. So, it's there. Kind of going through this quite quickly, but I think these chapters are relatively short, which isn't a bad thing, to be honest. Chapter 3. If his offering is a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offers an animal from the herd, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the offering and kill it at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall throw the blood against the side of the altar. And from the sacrifice of the peace offering, as a food offering to the Lord, he shall offer the fat covering the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them at the loins, and the long lobe of liver that he shall remove with the kidneys. Then Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar on top of the burnt offering, which is on the wood on the fire. It is a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. If his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering to the Lord is an animal from the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb for his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord, lay his hand on the head of his offering, and kill it in front of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons shall throw its blood against the sides of the altar. Then from the sacrifice of the peace offering, he shall offer as a food offering to the Lord its fat. He shall remove the whole fat tail, cut it off close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them at the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, he shall remove with the kidneys, and the priest shall burn it on the altar as a food offering to the Lord. If his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and lay his hand on its head, and kill it in front of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron shall throw its blood against the sides of the altar. Then he shall offer from it as his offering for a food offering to the Lord, the fat covering the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, at the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, that he shall remove with kidneys, and the priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering with a pleasing aroma. All fat is the Lord's. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, in all your dwelling places, that you eat neither fat nor blood. Chapter 4. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, If anyone sins unintentionally in any of the Lord's commandments about things not to be done, and does any one of them, if he is the anointed priest who sins, thus bringing guilt on the people, then he shall offer for the sin that he has committed, a bull from the horde, without blemish, to the Lord for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and lay his hand on the head of the bull, and kill the bull before the Lord, and the anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull, and bring it into the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle part of the blood 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of the fragrant incense before the Lord, that is in the tent of meeting, and all the rest of the blood of the bull he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering. That is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And all the fat of the bull of the sin offering he shall remove from it, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them at the loins, and the long lobe of the liver that he shall remove with the kidneys, just as these are taken from the ox of the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering, but the skin of the bull and all its flesh with its head, its legs, its entrails, and its dung, all the rest of the bull he shall carry outside the camp to a clean place, to the ash heap, and shall burn it up on a fire of wood. On the ash heap it shall be burned. If the whole congregation of Israel sins unintentionally, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they do any one of the things that the Lord's commandments ought not to be done, and they realize their guilt, when the sin which they have committed becomes known, the assembly shall offer a bull from the herd for a sin offering, and bring it in front of the tent of meeting. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the Lord, and the bull shall be killed before the Lord. Then the anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull into the tent of meeting, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil. And he shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar that is in the tent of meeting before the Lord, and the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering. This is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And all the fat he shall take from it and burn it on the altar. Thus shall he do with the bull as he did with the bull of the sin offering, so shall he do with this. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven. And he shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it up as he burned the first bull. It is the sin offering for the assembly. When a leader sins, doing unintentionally any of the commandments, the one thing that I did notice, if I'm not mistaken, with the other offerings, after the ceremony, the remnants of the product was given to Aaron and his sons. But as we can tell with the sin offering, everything is burnt, and no one gets to have the remnants. I suppose I'm just realizing this now. I didn't even realize it when I read this the first time. So I'm assuming that those sins will now go away. Obviously, the Lord has forgiven them, as we've been told, but the signification is that it's all burnt away. I think that's just something worth noting. Verse 23, or just before that. Unintentionally, any one of all the things that by the commandments of the Lord his God ought not to be done, and realizes his guilt, or the sin which he has committed is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without blemish, and shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it. In the place where they kill the burnt offering before the Lord, it is a sin offering. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and pour out the rest of its blood at the base of the altar of the burnt offering. And all its fat he shall burn on the altar, like the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. So the priest shall make atonement for him for his sins, and he shall be forgiven. If any one of the common people sins unintentionally in doing any one of the things that the Lord's commandments ought not to be done, and realizes his guilt, or the sin which he has committed is made known to him, he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female without blemish, for his sin which he has committed. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and pour out all the rest of its blood at the base of the altar. And all its fat he shall remove, as the fat is removed from the peace offerings, and the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasing aroma to the Lord. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be forgiven. If he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without blemish and lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and pour out all the rest of its blood at the base of the altar. And all its fat he shall remove, as the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offerings, and the priest shall burn it on the altar on top of the Lord's food offerings. And the priest shall make atonement for him for the sin which he has committed, and he shall be forgiven. As I hinted earlier on, I've already made commentary on these chapters. And if you're on Twitch, you see them labeled separately as highlights. And if you're watching this on YouTube, Rumble, on Odyssey, as I've said, I've time-stamped the original version of this reading, and you can just go directly to the commentaries. Go directly to the intro, to the commentary on chapters 1 to 3, and to the commentary on chapter 4, and on my outro, where I do also state something as well. So that's how I'm really going to play it, because I really didn't want to repeat any commentary here, because there's nothing for me to add. All right, and I'll probably do an edit where I would include the commentary in the final version. That shouldn't be too difficult. Just take a little bit of time. All right, so yeah, I just really wanted to do the reading, so I'll have it on record. And as I said, you can just go directly to the reading, and I'll go directly to the commentary, and I will make the necessary amendments later. So that was quite cool. What have we got here? Oh, I've got some viewers on Twitch, and nobody's showing me any love on YouTube. I wonder what I'm doing on my clientele on YouTube. I've got to break that. they do view the subsequent recording, but oh well. I'm very happy with my Twitch bros and with my Rumble bros. I'm just it's fantastic. It is. It is. It's fantastic. So I really want to thank you for joining me on today's stream. I've enjoyed reading this again. As I said in earlier streams, no matter how many times I read the word of the Lord, it always brings something new to me. It always comforts me. It always makes me understand things, and it kind of gives me a picture of what was going on back in those days with the Israelites, their relationship with the Lord, and also, especially with these first 4 chapters of Leviticus, it emphasizes, especially with chapter 4, that the Lord is a forgiving God. Okay? We're human beings, we make mistakes, right? But the Lord says, look, if you break any of my commandments, do a sin offering. These are the instructions to follow, and you will be forgiven. Okay? I mean, it's no excuse to go and start sinning, but if you unintentionally, whatever, this is between you and the Lord. Go and do a sin offering. And these days now, we don't do any more offerings. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. We have to put it in prayer. Okay? But as I said, as I'm saying now, it's important that you are what? Sober. One has to be sober. One has to be awake. One has to be aware of what is going on, because Satan is always bouncing around there, waiting for one to slip up. So he's going to tempt you with something. Okay, so you have to remain strong, you have to be vigilant, you have to be sober, you have to be aware of what is going on. So you're not fooled by anything at all, because it's always going to be there. There's always going to be some form of temptation. But hey, when you're blessed, you're blessed. So when that focus, because you will realize this, you would realize it. And when that focus is on you, it's just showing you how blessed you are, from my own perspective and from my own experience that I'm more than happy to share with you. Okay? So it's a blessing. Okay? So I'm going to roll up now, and I'd like to thank you once again for joining me in today's live stream. And I look forward for doing my next Bible reading, which should be on Leviticus 5 to 9. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care now, and good night.